explosion in Tel Aviv this evening. We're, Peter, if you can imagine, we are in a small edit suite, about 6 of us, just about to seal the room. Everybody has their gas masks at hand as per instructions, but so far I can't confirm that any attack of any kind is underway. It's simply that the air raid sirens have sounded both in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv.
So we're still hearing those air raid sirens we're hearing now are in Tel Aviv or near you in Jerusalem?
They are in Tel Aviv.
Okay, I just remind you what our technical people tell me to tell you, that you have control of the camera in Tel Aviv, and there now we can see it, I think. That is the camera on the roof of what, our ABC News Bureau in Tel Aviv?
That's right, Peter. You're looking at the city's central market there, and about in the middle of the picture, but in darkness, is the Defense Ministry.
Okay, it's the middle of the night there. What's it, 3:30 in the morning there?
It's 2:20.
Okie dokie. Dean, stand by just for a second. We'll see if we can get any confirmation out of this through where it's dropped in the city, if it is something that's dropped, where it's exploded, I should say.
None whatsoever, other than the fact that people who are hearing it, like our bureau and these other independent confirmation of the noise of it at least, they're in downtown Tel Aviv. It's a very urban area anyway, but it sounds like it came very close to the city, if not within the city limits itself.
Okay, now just how prepared are people in Tel Aviv? Your report earlier tonight was largely about people in Jerusalem, where people had, in the main in Israel, felt safer, believing that Saddam Hussein would not attack the Muslim holy places which are in Jerusalem. And I reaffirm we're not even sure it's an attack from Iraq at the moment. But people in Tel Aviv as well prepared as anybody in the country?
Absolutely, Peter. Everybody in this country was taking it quite seriously. There were hardly any cars on the streets. People had very studiously sealed up various rooms within their houses for this occasion. And I think that generally they were well prepared. The government was at pains to do this very calmly, and not to arouse any panic, and I think in so doing it prepared the public for this possible eventuality.
Okay, Dean, turn to your colleagues and see if you can glean any information. We will be with you at any time you want to talk. Now, the Associated Press is now reporting that 3 missiles hit in Tel Aviv. The Associated Press reports that 3 missiles hit in Tel Aviv. That's according to the Associated Press. I'm not sure if the Associated Press is giving any kind of a source on that, but that's what we'll go with. Say again? Quoting Israeli officials, Dean, 3 missiles have hit in Tel Aviv according to Israeli officials. Perhaps you want to take a second and do some reporting of your own there for a second while we talk to General Traynor, who is still with us in Boston. General Traynor, this certainly takes the edge off that euphoria that Americans have been feeling all day and reminds us about the mobile capability of the Iraqis. Please expand on that.
Well, the
Street, not far from the Jerusalem Hilton, I suppose about, what would you say, a mile or so from the Old City?
Yeah, just about a mile west of the Old City, I think, from the Jaffa Gate in the Old City. Very much
you could hear it now.
Peter, we are hearing explosions now in Tel Aviv.
We're actually move out of the way. Please zoom to the picture.
This is a camera on the roof of the ABC News Bureau in Tel Aviv, which is looking down at the Central Market. It is about 2:30 in the morning. Let's listen to what we can hear. These are the worst fears realized, of course, of Israelis and Americans. Saddam Hussein had said from the outset that he was going to try to engage the Israelis if the war came. And of course, now that the war is in its 24th hour, perhaps people were beginning to relax. They'd expected him to counterattack or attack against the Israelis early on. Very much a worst-case scenario for Israel and for the Middle East in general. The Israelis have said
Peter,
go ahead, Dean.
Peter, can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
I would point out that this would, if this is really what we think it is, that it will prompt virtually a certain Israeli retaliation, and the potential now for a wider conflict, I dare say, is there.
Dean, we can hear sort of bangs, explosions in the background. Can you give us any sense of what those are?
I can't, Peter. I really don't. I don't think it's fair to speculate. We can hear them too.
There was a missile attack, Dean. The radio confirms.
Radio confirms, Peter, that it was a missile attack.
Or there is a missile attack.
Or actually, the way they're putting it is there is a missile attack.
And there's sort of a crack every few seconds. Is that actually what sounds to you like a new explosion every few seconds?
I can't really say, Peter. It's difficult to hear, let alone to report.
It actually may also be your sharp breathing in your gas mask, which is fully understandable. Let's listen carefully again.
I think that's what we're hearing.
We are doing our best through every possible source at the moment to confirm exactly what has happened in Tel Aviv. But it is Israel's largest city. It is on the Mediterranean coast. It is the entry to Israel from all parts of the world, though the international airport is between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, Ben Gurion Airport. I cannot help but think at the moment, I don't know why, it's a totally abstract thought, that the contrast here, mentioning that airport, is when Anwar Sadat, the late Egyptian leader, went to Israel. Now we hear the sirens again, Dean. Are those in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv again, Dean?
It's Tel Aviv again. We're picking up the audio from Tel Aviv.
He can hear it. No, he can't. No, that's not an all clear. The all clear is steady.
There's an
It is
advisory
not an
from...
all clear.
Dean, the radio's giving instructions exactly how to put on the mask, how to seal the room, etc.
Peter, the radio is continuing to instruct people in civil defense methods how to don your gas mask, what to do in the case of an attack.
Cannot tell you how in the middle of the night this comes as an enormous shock to people after a day in which the Pentagon and the White House, the political establishment here, has spoken of the success of the opening phases of the campaign. We've all been cautioned against euphoria, and yet it has been inevitable in both the political and the military establishment as we've picked up bits and pieces throughout the day, and therefore it is inevitable in the press to some extent that people will not have relaxed a little bit. This is Mickey Gertis. Okay. I have someone in Tel Aviv on the phone now named Mickey. Mickey, can you hear me? Nikki?
Yes.
I think you may be near a radio. If you're near a radio, could you turn your radio down for just a second while you speak to us?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Can you talk to us and tell us what you think you know is going on?
There was 4 or 5 explosives in Tel Aviv. Now is around in the city. We don't know exactly what's happened. The radio said to be in the room, the clothing room, and to wear the gas mask.
So the radio has told you to go into a closed room and put on your gas mask, which you clearly have done because you sound like you're talking through a gas mask. Where are you in Tel Aviv, and do you know of any explosions?
We are now in the central of Tel Aviv. I heard that closely my spirit will know I cannot see.
You're in the north.
I refuse to speak with you because we are not in a safe room.
You're on the north side of Tel Aviv?
We are in the center of Tel Aviv.
In the center of Tel Aviv.
That's where it's near all the newspapers in the Israel. We need to close now because we need to go to a safe room.
Okay, thank you very much, Mickey, for taking this time. Please go to the closed room. Someone identified as Mickey, or perhaps it is Nikki in Tel Aviv, saying they're in the center of Tel Aviv, listening, as clearly all Israelis are at the moment, to the radio as they get a variety of instructions from the government on what to do. John McCarthy in Washington, you can confirm this. Maybe we don't need confirmation, but can you add any details?
I can't add details, Peter, but I can tell you that the U.S. government is confirming that there has been a missile attack on Tel Aviv. Of course, the implications of that, as Dean Reynolds has already pointed out, are enormous.
The implications, as Dean Reynolds talk about, come from the Israelis having said repeatedly in the last days and weeks that if there is an attack on Israel, the Israelis will respond 100-fold. They said it as recently as last weekend. You may recall that the Bush administration sent a very senior State Department official, Lawrence Eagleburger, over to Israel before the beginning of Operation Desert Storm to ask the Israelis to hold back if they were attacked. He got pretty much the cold shoulder. General Trainer, this raises, aside from the political implications which this raises at the moment, widening the war in the Middle East, this raises some instant military problems in that if the Israelis wanted to attack the Iraqis, now the skies over Iraq and Kuwait are full of American aircraft.
That's correct. We don't know if there's been any arrangement made on airspace management between the Israelis and the U.S. At least there's been none made publicly. So there is the possibility of a confusion if the Israelis elect to attack. But I have to say that I'm sure that this eventuality was part of the contingency thinking of the American Air Control Authorities, and I think perhaps this is a manageable task. After all, we do have the AWACS operating there and very sophisticated command and control systems governing use of the airspace. So it's not necessarily disastrous in terms of managing the air battle, but it is potentially dangerous.